Good day, learners, listeners, students all over the world for our today political science online class or government online class. We shall be discussing about a concept called concepts of states. Now, in some classes ago, I discussed about introduction to government, where I was able to identify and I noted that the word states is a kind of ambiguous word in political science. State, in some sense, may be used for a state, and it may also be used for a country. Now, what do you mean by states? State may be defined as an organized body of people occupying a definite geographical territory with an organized government. Now, the organized circle of people that are being coordinated by an organized government living in a particular geographical territory or definite territory is called a state. Now, in Nigeria, we have 35 states and a federal capital territory, which is the FCT. So the capital of Nigeria is Abuja. And of course, all those states, they have their governors except Abuja, that have the FCT minister. And the incumbent minister of the FCT is Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers. So that is by the side. Now, when we mention state, state has to do with an organized circle of people living together in a particular geographical territory, and their living and their dwelling or their activities are being coordinated by an organized government. You know, there must be a government that will mediate or that will control the totality of a state. So that is that. So we now proceed to characteristics or features of a state. You know, for you to call a particular geographical territory a state, it must to possess some attributes or characteristics which I call features. Number one is population. Yes, there must be a kind of definite population, numbers of people, both aged and young people, youth that lives in a particular area before you can say that that particular geographical territory is a state. Am I communicating? So population is one of the major attributes or feature of a state. Now, number two is territory. States do normally have definite territory. Yes, in terms of landmass. Yes, take for instance, we have our territory here in Ogun State because our territory, our states, Ogun State, shared border or boundaries with Lagos, Ondo State, you know, and Ibadan, etc., etc. So it must to have a definite territory. And number three feature, attribute of a state is government. Yes, the essence of government is to control, is to guide, is to provide, you know, to provide for the people that reside in a particular state. So the essence of government is to bring about dividends of democracy in a state. So a state without government is called a lawless state, which we can call a state of anarchy in government or in political science. So another feature is sovereignty. Sovereignty has to do with autonomy. Autonomy, yes, for those residents of that political territory should be able to govern themselves. That is called sovereignty. So that is why we refer to Nigeria as a sovereign state. Yes, a state that have their absolute power. They can control their territory by themselves. So we also have another feature of a state called recognition. Yes, a state should be a kind of clan or a kind of territory that will be well recognized by other places of the world or by other places of the country. Is that taken? So we also have number six attribute of a state to be permanence. Yes, you see, when you call a particular territory a state, it should have a kind of permanency. Yes, take for instance, this is Ogun State. This is the permanent state or permanent geographical territory that is being named as Ogun State in the year 1976. Yes, it must be permanent. So not as if like you said that this is Ogun State today, by tomorrow or by next tomorrow you said that no, this is not Ogun State, or in 2 weeks time you said that no, this is not a particular state that you mentioned in some weeks or months or years ago. Is that taken? So that is for our features of a state. And we also have some informations about Nigeria state, which notes that the head of state that organized state in Nigeria, the first head of state that named state in Nigeria was General Yakubu Gowon, and he organizes 12 states, yes, to start. So thereafter we now have a lot of head of state and president that came on board in order to add up some numbers to our states. Then we now have 35 states and a FCT. So the capital of Nigeria is Federal Capital Territory, which is called Abuja. Is that taken? So that is state. So in 1976 we have a lot of states that were being created, which Ogun State is part of the state. So that is that for our state. And don't forget that I have noted and I have explained about states, the definition and the attributes of a state or characteristics of a state. So I would like to stop here. For questions, observations, and comments, feel free to connect me via my Gmail, juliusoluwaseun78@gmail.com, and you may as well connect me via other my social platforms. So thanks for listening. Yes, I remain your educator Julius Oluwaseun. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you.